everybody. You got Mark coming to you tonight on the Garage Guy 879 channel. And earlier today, I took the very first shots with my new Canik TP9SF Elite. The gun has pros, and it definitely has some cons, but I'm going to tell you they are 3 sets of letters that mean 2 different things that best describe this firearm. AFA. The first meaning being absolutely freaking awesome. The second meaning, AFA, meaning absolutely freaking atrocious. While I got the gun here, I want to show you, no magazine inserted. Nothing in the chamber. The gun is safe. Alright. The ammo I used to shoot with, I only fired so many rounds through it. You can tell a lot from a firearm. You don't have to, by not having to fire a whole lot of rounds, you can see maybe what some problems are going to be. And then again, some problems can creep up later on down the road. But I got the Federal aluminum 115 grain target rounds. These here, I'd never used them before. This is Winchester training rounds. They're 147 grains. It's less recoil, and it simulates the ballistics of a 147 grain round of ammo. Like I said, I'd never used it before, but hey, $12 at Wally World, give me a little credit, Why not take a chance, see how they do. Let's go down my little shooting area and see how this little sweetheart performed today. Alright, and after the shooting part of the video, we'll come back and talk more in depth about this, because there are some really good positives and there are some really bad negatives going on here. Alright. Well, we're down here at my little shooting area. As you can see right here, I got 2 cardboard targets set up. The one here on the right, 5 yards with the Canik Elite. I'm going to be aiming dead center. And this one here on the left, 10 yards, Canik Elite. Canik, Janik, whatever. And I'm going to set the camera back, of course. And it's going to be set mostly at an angle to where maybe you can get a look at the shell ejection pattern. The 5 yard target, I'll be using the 115 grain Federal aluminum cased ammo, 15 rounds. This target 10 yards back, I'm going to be using 147 grain Winchester training ammo. It says less recoil but the same ballistics, but that's the only 147 grain ammo Wally World had at the time. So right target 115 grain, left target 147 grain. And then after that, I'll shoot a couple of magazines at these yellow steel targets here. My very first shots with my Canik TP9SF Elite 115 grain Federal ammo target rounds. on the very last shot, as you can see, failure to eject. As a matter of fact, I'd say about 5 or 6 of those shells came back and hit me on the shoulder or in the face. Now what I'm going to do, I'm going to put in the other magazine, 15 rounds of the Winchester training ammo, 147 grain. Supposed to be less recoil, but same ballistics. Let's see what happens with this. I'll be shooting at the target on the left. And there's no need for me to go back and shoot 10 yards. I'll shoot from the same 5-yard distance as I did the target on the right. Four shots, all right in here. Failure to eject, shot number 5. Well, what do you say we go over here and look at how I did. Not too shabby. Those low shots, those were my first few shots. I got my sights dialed in, hit a few in the middle there. Let's look here with the 147 grain ammo. I seem to have done a lot better. Of course, over to the left, as I always do the first time I fire a new firearm. Alright, 115 grain Federal aluminum cased ammo. I'm going to fire off 2 magazines, 15 rounds each mag. See if I can make some steel ring. And then after that, we'll head back up to the house and wrap this video up. No failures, but I'm still getting a lot of brass hitting me back on the shoulder here. Let's do this last magazine, see what happens. I could really get to liking this. Let's head up to the house and we'll just wrap this video up at the house, alright? Starting to get a little dark out here. And it's getting towards my supper time. I got some shake and bake chicken legs I'm going to make here after the video. Catch you in a minute. Here I am back. And I got to tell you, those chicken legs, man. Good stuff. Alright. First, let's talk about the ammo I was using. This 115 grain Federal aluminum cased target ammo. This Winchester training ammo, 147 grain. Less recoil. Supposed to simulate the same ballistics. I'm going to tell you something right now. This is the God's honest truth. I could not tell any difference in the recoil. There was no muzzle flip. And that was coming out of the Canik TP9SF Elite. Couldn't tell no difference whatsoever. I think I might have botched $12 on this, you know, but who's to say? Next time I go shooting with it, I'm going to try some brass cased ammo, 124 grain, normal 147 grain, and the plus P ammo, and see how it performs. And I'm going to keep an eye on that erratic ejection patterns. Alright. The analogy I have for this firearm right here is like this. Alright. This is something I do not want to give up on. The same way a guy would not want to give up on a woman he just met with a pretty face and a perfect pair, if you know what I mean. Anyhow, let's just say that pretty woman with the perfect pair does everything perfectly. She keeps herself looking good. She keeps the house looking good. She has the sweetest personality, but there's just one thing about her. She can't cook. Well, maybe she shouldn't have to cook. That's all well and good. But there'll be times that she'll need to cook and she just can't get it done. You don't throw her to the side for that. You work with her. You help her out with it, you know. You don't give up on her. The same goes for this, because this right here, it needs to be broken in. This is a firearm that needs to be broken in. That is my impression from what I've got shooting it and from what I had watching all the other videos. Another channel I forgot to mention in the initial introduction to this firearm was a channel called Rev, R-E-V. Didn't start out so well, but as it went along, as he got more rounds through it, the better it got. I'm not talking 200 or 300 rounds, 500 rounds. You want to get at least 1,000 to 1,200 through it. I'm not going to give up on this. You know, I've said it before. I gave up on a really nice Glock 19 Gen 4 I had, and I didn't give it that much of a chance, and I regret it. It's not happening with this. Now, by the time I get 1,200 rounds on this, if it's still screwing up, then and only then will I trade it in. But other than that, I am sticking with this. Alright? Now, let's go to something else here. The magazine loader that comes with these Canik Elites. I found this one to be pretty much useless. That's why I've decided to stick with my Uplula. This assist loading tool will go in a sandwich bag with all the other Canik accessories I'm not going to use. Alright, so that's the last we'll see of this. These Metgar magazines, man, they are just totally freaking awesome. Alright. A little stiff, but they're brand new. But I did try to load one magazine by hand. Got all 15 rounds in with no problem. And then when I used the Uplola magazine assist loading tool with it, no problem. Just in. No problem. These are some really awesome. Alright, let's go on to something different. The sights. These Warren tactical sights, as you saw on my earlier video, I found them to be, well, really useful. I liked them. I could get a good clear sight picture with them. I found I had to aim maybe a tad high to get my target, but that's no problem. You know, maybe that's just the gun itself. Maybe the ammo, I don't know, but just a tad high. It's no big deal, and it is no deal breaker. The trigger on here, my gosh, sweet. How sweet? Diabetic. I love this trigger on here. It's just freaking sweet, man. The holster that come with it, the Serpa type holster, did okay. I had it there hooked on my belt. Gun fit in snugly. I'd try moving around with it. The gun would not lose retention. It just held in there very nicely and in place. And here's an old holster I've had for years. A size 12's Uncle Mike, kind of a felt filling holster. Inside the waistband, like I said, size 12. I think it might need to go a size bigger, maybe 13. This Uncle Mike's holster fit my Taurus G2 PT 111s perfectly. The same with the old Mill Pro models. But like I said, go up a size larger for the Canik. Okay? We got that out of the way. Now let's talk about when I was shooting the gun. I had 2 failures to eject. Not a big deal. We saw the way the ejection pattern was going. It was bound to happen sooner or later. It's a brand new gun. Those were my first shots fired through it. I can deal with it. Like I said, not a deal breaker. I'm going to be very patient with this. As you saw, the ejections, the shell casings mostly, you see how I was holding my arms like that. They were mostly coming back like this. And I'm thinking to myself, good grief. You know, it's like somebody hold their arms like that and somebody tried to throw a basketball in the hoop there. But you saw in the video for yourself, that was what was going on. I don't know if it's a guide rod problem, if the guide rod's got, I don't know, rated for too much weight or what have you. It might be the ejector or might be the extractor. I don't know. Century Arms is telling people use higher powered ammo. That's fine, but you should be able to take this out. I mean, a gun with a 4-inch barrel, 15 round capacity, you should be able to use it as a range gun as much as you use it as a self-defense firearm. And erratic ejection patterns when you're in a self-defense situation can come back to bite you. Especially if you have to pull on somebody to defend yourself. You take that first shot, you miss, and then that spent shell casing comes back and catches you right in the eye. If that happens and the guy you're shooting at is returning fire, you're pretty much done for right there. I'm sure that maybe some aftermarket company, say Storm Lake or somebody, they might come up with a aftermarket guide rod that will fix this problem. I certainly hope so. But I would much rather that Canik or Century Arms themselves get that done before an aftermarket company does. Y'all get the gist of what I'm saying. You know, like I mentioned before, this trigger, the brake and reset, among the best I have ever experienced on any semi-auto. And that includes reworked triggers, polished triggers, whatever kind of triggers, aftermarket triggers. This straight from the factory trigger, its brake and reset, is amazing. Absolutely freaking awesome. You've seen me do it before. Hell, I'll do it one more time. Alright? Good clean brake. The best part, tactile, audible reset, very short. You ready to shoot again? Yep. There's another meth head put out of commission right there. This trigger is amazing. It's awesome. And it is comfortable. A lot of people talk about some of these triggers with the trigger safety in the middle. After a while it kind of wears you down, kind of gets to hurting on your finger. Not this. This is nice. This is sweet. How sweet? Once again, diabetic. I have no problems with this. I just frickin' love this trigger. Alright, pros. We talk about the trigger. We talk about the sights. We talk about the ergonomics. Cons. One con concerning the ergonomics. I mentioned it before on a video I put out earlier. One fella complained about the knuckle rub right here. Well, towards the end of my shooting, I experienced that. I had a good grip right up and under the back of the slide here, or at the back of the frame, and it started rubbing right in there pretty good. So I just adjusted my thumb down here a little bit to where that wouldn't happen. Now when you're target shooting or practicing, you can do this. You know, it's self-taught, but when you're in an emergency situation, the adrenaline's flowing, you're not going to give that a second damn thought. No way that's going to happen. But it does happen. That is something to look, to look out for. You might have to adjust your grip just a tad, but other than that, no big deal. Or you might order a piece of the rubber skater's tape and put right there. It's up to each individual, to decide how they want to equip this, especially with any grips or anything like that. Now, at $455, that's including tax and the $2 background check fee here in the state of Virginia. This is definitely not a budget gun. There's no way in hell. I think it's a lot better made than any Taurus out there. It's a lot better made than the guns that are in the $300 market or range or whatever. I'm surprised that Canik is selling their other models for around $350. You go to Bud's Gun Shop online website, you can pick up the TP9SF or the V2 or the SA or whatever around $350, maybe 20 bucks more. This one here costs more. I guess it's because of the Warren tactical sights. This is just an awesome firearm for the price. Here for the last 2 years, in my opinion, the best value firearm for the money was the Taurus G2 PT111. Mine has over 10,000 rounds through it. I only gave $199 for it. And it's still going strong after all those rounds. But this right here, as far as best bang for the buck, This is it right here. I don't know what else to say about it. It does have its cons. Y'all saw it for yourself. The erratic ejection. Hopefully that'll smooth out as more rounds get shot through it. And by 1,200 rounds, if it doesn't improve, I guess me and this little sweetheart here are going to part ways. But if it improves, I'm going to stick with it. I'm going to be very patient. You've heard my comments, you've heard my thoughts and impressions, you've heard the pros, you've heard the cons, you saw the video for yourself how it did. You be the judge. Alright, this is Mark, Garage Gate 79. I'm going to get off here. I run my mouth long enough. I got some other things to do. Try out the Canik TP9SF Elite. I think for the money, it's the best gun out there, especially if they get the ejection problem solved. Alright, Century Arms, Janik, Canik, Jonic, whatever you call yourself, get this fixed. Alright, and you will definitely have a winner on your hands. When you go shooting, be safe.